How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Miro, where's Will?
Where's Will, huh? Welcome back, everybody. Another week of Story of the Fight. Yeah, where is Will? Well, okay, so everybody welcome. Story of the Fight. My name's Romero. This is Rich the Casual. Rich the Casual's not new to the show. He's just usually in the background. Right, Rich?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? I'm happy to be here. I hope I make up for my lack of knowledge with enthusiasm.
Hey, there's a reason we call you Rich the Casual. There's a reason.
That's for sure. And it will unfold as the show goes on.
Hey, but Will, right now, he's having an eventful weekend. Rich Casual, do you have the pictures that Will shared with me?
Yeah. He's busy, that's for sure. Let me pull that up.
He's busy, yeah. So the first one, this is Will with Nick Diaz. So it looks like he's going around.
Are they trading?
I don't know. That's Will with Nick Diaz, though. And then before I know it, he's sending me a picture of him skiing in the Alps. So look at
it's like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
He is he's the most mysterious man in the world. I don't know where he's going to be tomorrow. All I know is that he couldn't be with us this weekend. He's too busy with Nick Diaz. I don't know if they're both skiing in the Alps right now.
We'll keep an eye on their Twitter accounts and see where they live tweet from.
Now, Will has the same look on his face in all the pictures. Haters will say that the skiing picture is Photoshop. Haters will say it's Photoshop. But that's just Will. He just has the same expression on his face no matter what. How was your week, Rich?
Oh, dude, it was good. It was relaxing. I apologize. I actually missed producing the show last week because I was on vacation. And this week, now Will's gallivanting. However, next week we'll all be together.
Gallivanting.
Yeah, gallivanting
on excursions.
Yep. So... anyway, it's been great, and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to tell you guys that this was the very first full card I ever watched on my own volition. Well, not is it even my own volition? Like, I'll basically held me hostage. Like, hey, Will's in the Alps. We need someone to watch these fights. But besides this, I'd really only been to like Buffalo Wild Wings to watch like a main event, or I went to like a movie theater to watch like an entire Conor McGregor fight one time. I think I might have mentioned to you, and that was like with work friends. So
you probably weren't paying very much attention. It was more like
I'm looking at the highlights, right? And I'm like eating food and not studying that closely. But I got notes. Like we're locked and loaded. All right.
Awesome. I love it. So before we continue, though, I want to let everybody know, if you like our content, whether it's on YouTube's, you can also find us on Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. And then social media, Rich?
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Same handle. Make it easy. Just follow both at the same time at Story of the Fight. And then we got a chat room on Facebook, Story of the Fight Chat, where Ramiro posts some questions during the week, kind of gets the pulse of the MMA community, our small corner of it, anyway, the people that are in our corner. Chat it up, bring up your questions, bring up topics for us to bring up on the show. That's the best way to be included along with being live. Thank you guys for tuning in. So tune in live when you can at 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Those are all the ways you guys can reach out to us. We love listener interaction.
Also 12 Eastern.
12 Eastern. Yep. There's another time zone after ours.
Or if you're in the UK,
you
know what? I don't know. I wasn't prepared for the UK time. I don't know how far ahead they are. But from wherever you're at.
So what did we watch, Ramiro?
Man, we had Brunson versus Till, UFC Vegas 36. This was a very fun card. Look, and I know that week after week, it sounds like I'm always saying, this was a fun card. But you know what? The UFC has been putting on really fun cards. So Till versus Brunson, main event. I think after this fight, everybody needs to start taking Brunson more seriously.
Well, that's what he was saying at the end after the when the interview started. He said, "I'm tired of people not mentioning my name." I think he mentioned that he lost to Israel Adesanya before, and he's like, "Well, I've been making my way back up into this point. Did I catch that correctly?"
Oh, keep it in this picture. Go back for a second. So, yes, no, you're absolutely right. He lost to Izzy. You know what? So have a lot of people. Everybody in the UFC, other than Jan Blachowicz, has lost to Izzy that has faced Izzy. Okay, so nothing to hang his head on when it comes to losing to Izzy. But Brunson has been making moves as of late. Okay, he beat up Holland with a lot of wrestling, and everybody was like, "Okay, Holland's not a wrestler." But you know what? He's going up against Till, who has challenged for a belt in the past. And, to start off the fight, Till looked really good. He was light on his feet. He was in and out, a la Till. And his 1-2 was so quick, lightning fast.
Mhm.
And he caught Brunson a few times with that 1-2. And I was thinking to myself, as long as he can maintain that distance, he'll be just fine. And then Brunson closed that distance really quickly, probably halfway through the first round. And what you see right here, this is the thing. Brunson has the ability
Can I channel
to
my
take you down.
inner Will real quick?
Yes, please.
This is what Will always says. He says, "Styles make fights," and it's in the title of this broadcast right here, where you said the striking versus the ground
The
game
grappling.
or the grappling from Derek Brunson. So I was like, okay, this is definitely they want to exert their will over each other in the way that they want to, and
Mhm.
Derek Brunson totally took it in this one.
Absolutely. But it's not just the fact that he was able to maintain top position, but he had some nasty ground and pound. So right here, you see him just hitting him with a nasty left. Till didn't have an answer for the top game. He tried, he was able to push him off a couple times and be able to get back into the stand-up. But the threat for the takedown was so big for Till after that first round.
Mhm.
You could see that it impacted him the rest of the fight. But Brunson just did a fantastic job closing that distance. And taking Till down any way possible, and then maintaining the top game, high pressure. It was a beautiful performance by Brunson.
Yeah, and if you guys look at my notes here, like I try to absorb what I can, and really it's more of me like writing down everything that I notice. Whether it be like the spectacle, the announcers, the things that I've picked up from listening to you and Will every week for like over half a year now, and something that's still ambiguous to me is like what sort of strikes are allowed versus not allowed. I know you can't knee someone you can't send a knee at someone when their hand is on the ground, their hand's planted.
Yep,
But besides
exactly.
that, like illegal strikes are kind of ambiguous to me, like what's allowed. But the general thing that I'm getting is when you're taken down by someone and someone has top position over you, you want to be as close to them as possible so that they can't kind of rear up and get their full ground and pound going. When Derek Brunson did have that going, I said to myself, okay, this is ground and pound. Like this is pod racing. This is why they call it that. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like when Bruce Buffer was announcing everyone's names and nicknames and all that stuff, I was like, what's Derek Brunson's nickname? He doesn't have one. But Darren the Gorilla Till, and then I was like, I don't know if that's fitting. Maybe I didn't see it in this match. But at the end of the fight, I was like, holy fuck! It's like this guy got out of a bear trap. Like, oh my god! Like,
Dude, Brunson's no joke, man. Brunson's no joke.
And like,
yeah.
We're going to talk about someone else that had a UFC debut today. He's mentioned in the title as well, kind of alluded to. But to me, this is everyone's UFC debut. I haven't seen any of these people. So what a debut! I haven't been sleeping on Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson is the front and center of my mind right now.
and you're excited.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're excited. Oh, wait, we have something coming in, transmission coming in from Will Fredrickson himself. Will, from the Alps, from skiing in the Alps. Styles make fights. It's 6 p.m. here, and it's time for church.
Yeah, welcome to church. Welcome to the service. You got a substitute priest here, but I'm learning, I guess.
And then we have a Flo Sensei who also came through and said, "Ground game is crazy." LOL. Absolutely. No, but a lot of props to Brunson. One thing that I noticed too. So we have Till walking into his corner at the end of the first round, and he says, "Brunson's tired." That's what he tells his corner. He says, "Brunson's tired." And then right after that, Till takes a deep breath. And I said, "Fool, you're tired too."
You're tired.
This is a fist fight.
Yep.
Everybody gets tired. Everybody gets tired. Anybody says, "Hey, I'm not tired going into the second round, third round." Come on. Like, everybody gets tired. but Brunson has shown the ability, like wrestlers, to just be able to grind it out, man. That's something that they grow up with. A lot of these guys are wrestling since the time that they're 4 or 5 years old, and it's the toughest sport to do. It takes a different type of mentality. And Brunson, man, just again, fantastic performance. I'm taking a look at the middleweight, the middleweight rankings here. So Brunson was ranked 5th going in this. Darren Till was ranked 7th. I mean, we have Marvin Vittori up there, Jerry Cannonier, which I believe just fought not too long ago, Paulo Costa, Robert Whittaker, and then Izzy. But after Robert Whittaker, I wouldn't be surprised if they skip past Jared Cannonier again and go straight to Derek Brunson. You know, so we'll see what happens.
Well, that's something that was kind of confusing. I'm telling you, everyone's a debut to me, but they show some of the live kind of odds during the fight. And I think in the third, right in the middle of the first round, I think they mentioned that Brunson was not favored. And was that the case going into the fight? He was the underdog?
You know, I'd have to double check to see exactly what they were going in. But I want to say Brunson was a favorite. Honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah, and like I'm thinking to myself, okay, so if Till's favored, like what am I going to see that? Why is that so? And during the second round, he did a better job trying to keep Brunson off of him. He had some sharp strikes to the face. He had some knees when he was trying to come in and trying to keep him from going down to the second level, keeping him up high. He'd back up quickly, and he even just had a
look
straight
at you
palm.
talking about levels.
I'm trying.
Talking about levels.
He even had a palm to the face. So like this, and I was like, "Is that legal?" Like he just like like they're being kidnapped. Like I was like, "What's going on?"
That's what it's called. It's called the Kidnap Man.
Okay.
No, it's not. But no, just again, beautiful job by Brunson, finishing him off there with the rear naked choke. And dude, honestly, like I'm a little heartbroken because I'm a big Till fan. You know, I got to watch him live, and I witnessed his first loss in the UFC. He was undefeated going up against Tyron Woodley. And my wife and I, Mindy and I, come over here because that fight was here in Dallas at the American Airlines Center. And I got to see Darren Till come out, electrify the crowd. It was a good fight, but yeah, man, he has a special place in my heart. Darren Till does. And he's probably one of the most hilarious people in the UFC. Will says he's one of his favorites to kind of just listen to in interviews and stuff like that. And you know, we always ask each other if there was one person you would want to party with in the UFC, who would it be? You know, for me, it's still Tai Tuivasa, but Darren Till's up there.
Okay.
Darren Till's up there. Tai Tuivasa will have a good time. Darren Till, I might end up arrested and getting beat up by the cops, but
maybe his personality will show through in his next fight or something like that. Or he'll get a better opportunity to display.
Yeah. And I mean, hopefully this isn't the end of watching fights for you, Rich.
Oh, I can't say that. I think we're gonna watch something together next week. So,
if anything, you should come over for the 25th. 25th, we have who is Brian Ortega versus Volkanovski. That card's absolutely stacked. If there's any card that you're going to come over for, let it be that one. Okay. So start planning now, 25th. Okay. And don't tell me there's any NBA, because I know for a fact there's no NBA going on.
There's 50 days until the NBA starts. 75th season. We're going to have our top 75 players ranked, but that's the story for another time.
Oh, get out of here. All right. Before that, we had Aspinall versus Spivak on the co-main event. A couple big boys here.
Yeah, and that's something else I was noticing during the fights. I was like, of course, there's different weights and divisions for a reason. Like, what's a catch weight? Maybe you'll tell me later on. But yeah, you know, just the lighter the guys are, the more things are kind of flying around. They're doing tornadoes around the ring versus the heavyweights are kind of moving in at a more of a glacial pace.
Tornadoes.
Yeah, bro. You'll know which one I'm talking about when they come up.
So. Dude, Aspinall, he's somebody that we've been talking about since day one when he debuted in the UFC, and we pointed out the fact that this is a heavyweight that's a new generation type of heavyweight that comes in, and yeah, you know, he's heavy, but he moves around like a freaking middleweight in there, and it's super impressive. He's so quick to get in and out. His hands are lightning fast, man. They're lightning quick, and that's something that Spivak learned yesterday. But the thing of beauty, straight beauty, was the elbow coming out of the clinch that caught Spivak. Did you catch that?
I sure did. I got notes on that right now. But before we get to that, I just wanted to say what I noticed. I'm telling you everything that I noticed. Aspinall came in to the song "Move On Up" by Curtis Mayfield. That one is commonly sampled by Kanye West. So that's the one that you guys know about. It's "Touch the Sky" by Kanye West and Lupe Fiasco. and that's the one that I've seen live because I went to see Lupe Fiasco and he played.
Oh,
live.
nice.
I just wanted to put that in there. I've been to that show.
Walkout songs are important, man. That's one of the things I look at.
They were, but you're right. I was saying that they move around, as the heavyweights a little bit more slowly compared to the guys that were flying around. But this fight was over quickly. It was over, I think, in about first round. Is that the first round that one ended?
Let me double check. I believe so. This one was, first round.
Yeah, they were keeping their distance, and then Spivak
exactly halfway through the first round,
trying to get for a takedown, I believe, and then Aspinall kind of kept him at his distance with his upper body, and I noticed he was keeping his legs far away so that he wouldn't get the sweep or try to knock him to the ground and try to tumble over and get ground control. And then during that time, I believe Aspinall kind of checked him with a knee to have to put his hands down, and Spivak tried to kind of guard it, and right in that moment, he went in for the elbow, which looked like a strike at first. I wrote down a punch, but then on the replay, I saw that it was an elbow, which rocked him, knocked him down.
It was so fast that even the announcers thought, they're like, that's how much power he has in close, that punch. Yep. And then they showed the replay, and they're like, oh, shit, it was an elbow.
Yep.
Well, they didn't say shit on the broadcast, but you know what I mean. I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah, he rocked him. He kind of stumbled, went down, and then I was like, all right, it's hammer fist time. And then he got a couple punches in, and then was it Herb Dean on that one, or was it the other guy?
No, I just can't remember.
It wasn't Herb
Mark
Dean,
Smith.
I remember. But yeah, every time I see Herb Dean, I was like, ooh, how's he going to mess this one up? Am I going to notice? Based on what you guys always say.
Look, Herb Dean is one of the best in the business, man.
Okay.
That's true. And I think that part of it, though, is that Herb Dean has set the bar so high for himself. He set the bar so high for the rest of the refs that whenever he does make any mistakes, for me personally, it stands out so much more. If we have a Tagnoni that makes a mistake, then I'm like, okay, it's Tagnoni being Tagnoni. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When we were watching Yamasaki back in the day, you don't know about Yamasaki. Look at Mario Yamasaki highlights, and they won't be highlights of Mario Yamasaki fighting, but it'll be highlights of Mario Yamasaki and letting fights go on way too long.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the old school Rocky, if he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
That's Mario Yamasaki, dude.
Putting people at risk.
Putting people at risk, yeah. When he's in there supposed to be protecting the fighters, he's more like, maybe they'll survive. I see their eyes roll into the back of their head, but maybe he's playing possum. You know what I mean? It's just, that's Mario Yamasaki. But anyways, one of the things that I really admire about Aspinall is that he pointed out, he said, I want to move up in the ranks slowly. I'm ranked number 13. Give me number 12. But he specifically said, I want to move up the ranks slowly. And I freaking love that about him, because there's so many times we have young stars coming in and they start shining. And the UFC starts seeing, okay, I see something in this person. Have them jump up the ranks really, really quick. And then before you know it, that ascension starts turning into a descension. So Aspinall, beautiful. Whoever's management team, handling them beautifully. Yeah, props to them.
It's like competitive eating. You can't eat too much too fast. It's a story of disaster. You got to chew thoroughly and slowly.
Time out. Hold on. Did you just compare mixed martial arts to competitive eating?
It's like anything. You go at your own pace.
You might be the first person ever that I'm like, hey, Aspinall, props to you. And he's like, it's like Joey Chestnut.
Yes, exactly.
No, it's not like Joey Chestnut. What are you talking about?
No, it's the competitor that fought against him all the time. That's who I learned from. What was his name?
Who?
The Asian guy that went against Joey Chestnut for years after year after year.
Kobayashi.
Yep, Kobayashi. He's the one that said chew your food thoroughly so it stacks well in the stomach. If you don't do it thoroughly and you bite off more than you can chew, then that leads to problems. That's what's happening.
And how's it going from now?
I guess not so great, but this is
you know what? Don't listen to him. Listen
Aspinall,
to Joey Chestnut.
Kobayashi. Okay, cool.
Aspinall, Kobayashi.
That's why y'all brought me on the show, for out of context comparison. So
I love it. Okay, this next one we had Morono versus Zawada. Look, there's not much for me to cover on this fight. I will say Morono did a great job countering Zawada. You saw him waiting back quite a bit, and as soon as Zawada would throw something, Morono had a beautiful counter. And something that I found very interesting from Morono is that he has the high guard, but he has a high extended guard, which allows him to counter a lot faster. So instead of coming from in tight, extending all the way out, right, to jab or to counter, he's out here already. And as soon as he moves back, he's able to just do a faster jab or get in a faster right. And that's an example of the extended guard there a little bit. So, but he just completely outclassed Zawada when it comes to the striking. He looked good. But again, not much to share on that fight. So are you okay if we just keep on moving forward here, Rich?
Cool with me.
All right. Next one. Bukowski versus Roundtree. Roundtree.
This
Oh,
one was
jeez.
exciting. Oh man, yeah, I loved watching this one. This one
Roundtree.
was like he got shot. It was like a cannonball getting shot at Bukowski. Like I was like, man, this is so dangerous.
Roundtree is a savage, man. And the thing is that everybody for a while now has been waiting for the Roundtree that we saw yesterday to show up on a regular basis. You know, he has a fantastic performance. And then his next fight, it's like he's not all there mentally. Then the next fight looks like he's trying to work things out. Then the fight after that, best performance we've ever seen, so on and so forth. But he was a man on a mission.
What a debut in my mind for him. Like that guy was, like I said, vicious, bro. Like he had Bukowski dodging for his life. Like he was dodging backwards like 5 feet at a time. I was like, is there even that much room in the octagon? And I'm hearing that this octagon that we were viewing it in, the Apex one, is smaller than the one that's traditionally at wherever the normal fights are.
Yeah.
Is this a 15-foot octagon versus a 20-foot?
No, I don't remember the exact size, but the octagon inside of the Apex is always going to be smaller than the ones that you see for like the huge UFC events. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think that played a small part in Bukowski's not being able to get away.
Absolutely. When you get some bigger guys in there like that, and you have somebody like Roundtree that's blitzing you with a barrage of punches, yeah, absolutely, it's harder for him to get away. And Roundtree did an excellent job of cutting the cage off. So as Bukowski was trying to move left and right, that does make it easier, the smaller cage, for Roundtree to be able to cut him off left and right and move along with him as he's moving along, you know? So, hey, great observation there, Rich.
I try, man. I try. And we're burying the lead, man. Like the ending was so exciting and so sudden. It was so like I'm watching and I'm like, okay, what am I seeing? Like I'm trying to absorb and analyze what I'm seeing as I'm taking it all in for the first time. I don't have as many reps in as you guys, obviously, but I'm seeing Roundtree. I almost say Roundtree, but there's no D in there. But he's got his fists up. They're kind of trying to check each other, and they're trying to feint a little bit and keep their attention on the other fighter and where the strikes are coming from. But I see his right leg, his foremost leg, it's like twitching.
With the
like,
Muay Thai stance.
Is that what it is? When he's moving his leg up and down, his knee up and down, almost like you're almost gonna strike, but you're not.
Yes.
I'm like, something's about to happen with this.
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm like, he's anticipating a check. He's gonna check him with this. And then as soon as Bukowski stepped forward to throw a punch, I believe his left leg,
the jab.
The jab. His left leg kind of steps forward into it to give him some power, and he basically stomps on his knee and folds it inward. And he tried it once before that, like 10 seconds before that. He tried it before that. I was like, okay, something's happening. And then crunch, and then DC is like, oh my God. And even Herb Dean, if you look, Herb Dean was in this one for sure because I wrote a note. I was like, Herb Dean's like, said, what the fuck? Like when it happened, like his face said, what the fuck? And I was like, oh my God. And yeah, the announcers were taken aback, and
look, man,
Bukowski's like kind of toppled, and he didn't even get a chance. Did Roundtree even have to put any more strikes in? He did.
No,
he didn't have to.
No,
and yeah, it was just over after that.
Well, yeah,
so sudden.
Bukowski was bleeding because Roundtree rearranged his nose in the first minute.
You're right.
With the barrage of punches, so he was already a bloody mess.
Yeah,
right. But so Roundtree, remember I told you sometimes he has an excellent performance, and we don't know what kind of Roundtree we're going to get. Excuse me. So Roundtree went to Thailand, studied Muay Thai, focused on Muay Thai to reinvent himself in his style. He comes back against Eric Anders, who's an excellent striker as well, and just completely outclasses Eric Anders. And then he gets 2 losses after that. So again, we're like, oh, what kind of Roundtree are we going to get? And we get this monster in the cage last night. Monster. I've seen a good Roundtree, but I haven't seen a Roundtree as aggressive as I did last night. And I hope that this Roundtree is here to stay. Now, yes, when you saw him being lighter on his front foot, that's a classic Muay Thai stance, Muay Thai style. They're very light on their front foot.
I think Sagat from Street Fighter also fites that way. And
yes, and again, he's from Thailand, right? Well, the character is based out of Thailand. He's not a real dude. We all know this. Right. But, yeah, so that kick, they call it like an oblique kick. Somebody that's made that pretty popular and famous is John Jones. He uses that a lot. But when John Jones uses it, I feel like it's more to maintain distance, kind of gauge a range.
Yeah. I think I've seen that before. I've seen him fight.
Yeah. But Roundtree did it with some horrible intent, man.
Yeah, dude. Like,
there was so much power in that oblique kick. And he pointed out the fact that whenever we had Bukowski throwing the jab, he noticed that Bukowski was planting very heavily on that left foot.
Yeah.
So with him planting heavily on that left foot and him timing it perfectly, that oblique kick, it was a recipe for disaster. Me personally, now I know this is a fight. They're fighting. They're in a freaking cage. It's a crazy sport. They lock the cage and they say, "Have at it."
Is it really locked?
Yes. Like think about it. Just think about the sport. So I understand. Look, I'm a big supporter of kneeing down opponents. Okay. But I saw this oblique kick, what it did to Bukowski, and I thought to myself, is this something that we want to take a look at and removing from the sport of MMA? And there's probably going to be a bunch of people saying, hey, no, it's a fist fight. It's a fight. Things happen in MMA. But I'm also thinking about the fighters. Like, how long is it going to be before Bukowski?
Should there be a line drawn where it seems like this particular action seems like you're intending to injure someone versus just winning this fight?
Dude, you're intending to injure somebody all the time. That's Will says just bleed, of course. Jesus. Of course he did. No, but you're the intent is to hurt somebody every time. Think about it. With that barrage of punches in the beginning, it's not like he was trying to pat him on the face. The intent was to knock out.
He busted his nose immediately. Yep.
He broke his nose. The intent in this sport is to hurt your opponent. I get it. But I don't think the intent in the sport should be to tear somebody's ACL, MCL, and PCL. That's where I'm just vicious. Like, ugh. You know, it was a bad oblique kick. Bukowski was out. And, you know, the utmost respect to Bukowski. So they show footage on Instagram afterwards. Roundtree heading to the locker room. Bukowski is still sitting off to the side on the stretcher with the air cast around his leg already. And Roundtree's walking by and he tells him, hey, good fight. And Bukowski has nothing but compliments for Roundtree and says, hey, fantastic fight. You're one of my idols when I watched you on The Ultimate Fighter. You know, like it was an honor to step in the octagon with you. And this is after he tore almost every ligament.
Is it torn? I didn't get the
ACL, MCL, PCL is what they said.
Wow.
It's a blown knee.
Well, yeah, it's like you know, different. I think I've heard you and Will mention before when guys get different kind of holes in, they break them up, and before they break up, they try to twist or, you know, put some lasting damage in. So
yep.
Kind of the same
again,
kind of
somebody
idea.
that does that is John Jones in the clinch. You know, when he whoever gets the underhooks on him, he has this little thing where he likes to shove the shoulder in and can tweak a fighter's shoulder or dislocate a shoulder. So, but I know that it's not a dirty move. And again, Roundtree was a man on a mission yesterday. But for me, watching that, knowing the effects that it had on Bukowski, I don't know if Bukowski is ever going to be the same after he has surgery on his knee. So I'm just thinking long-term for these fighters. Bukowski, I don't know what other things he has going on. Hopefully he has investments and shit like that. But I like they have families to feed too, man. Yeah. You know, they want to keep a roof over their head. They want to continue fighting. This is a sport they love. Like, imagine if the NBA, somebody's running down and, you know, somebody's able to just, you know, take LeBron James' knee out.
Well, I mean, that's happened.
He kind of deserves it. But
oh, God. So
you know how I feel about LeBron James.
It's
so that's a different
bleed
story.
when it comes to LeBron James, but Ramiro the humanitarian when it comes to the UFC.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. All right, man. We can go and move on. Okay. This is one I'm really excited about. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett.
The Baddy. Oh, God.
Paddy the Baddy Pimblett making his debut against Vendramini. Dude, I've been looking forward to seeing Paddy fight in the UFC. I know a lot of people have looked forward to seeing Paddy fight in the UFC. I've heard, who was it? It was DC, I think, said this is Owen Hart 2.0. Do you know who Owen Hart is?
No, and I didn't know who this guy was. Like I said, everyone's making their debut for me.
Okay, keep it on this picture for a while here.
Okay.
But no, yes.
You mentioned, we have it in the title, A Star is Born. Do you think a star was born in this fight today?
Look, there was a lot of people the hardcores, not the rich, the casuals of the world,
Mm-mm.
but the hardcores that know Paddy Pimblett and have been waiting for Paddy Pimblett to make his UFC debut. This guy is a character. Okay, anybody that follows mixed martial arts across, just beyond the UFC, knows of Paddy Pimblett. So I think that with him being mainstream now on ESPN, doing what he did yesterday, showing his personality, yes, I think a star was born. And I'm praying and I'm hoping to the MMA gods and to Saint Dana White that on this next major pay-per-view, they find a way to get Paddy Pimblett in. If somebody pulls out, let's see if we can get Paddy Pimblett in so we can get more eyes on Paddy, because this guy, at the end, he said, I'm the new cash cow.
Oh, wow.
And I think that he can be the new cash cow for the UFC if they play their cards right. So, 1, energetic, right? 2,
You haven't even mentioned the haircut.
what? Again, when you have a chance, just Google Owen Hart, Hart in WWE, Owen Hart, and you'll see why it is that they refer to this guy as Owen Hart 2.0. But anyways, he comes in, a lot of energy, very aggressive. He did come in with his chin very high as he's striking. So he would come in expecting for Vendramini to strike back, but instead of bobbing and weaving or slipping, he would try to move straight back to avoid the punch. But dude, you're not going to be able to get away with that in the UFC. And like you see right here, Vendramini catches him with a hard left hook, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? He ate that shit for lunch. No problem. He continued coming forward. So Paddy the Baddy showed us I can eat a shot. And Paddy the Baddy showed us, and I'll continue coming forward. And I'll continue being an exciting fighter. And then boom. Look at that. Look at that.
Another early fight. When I was watching these,
First rounder.
All these fights are ending early on this card. Is this common? I was like, what's going on here?
First rounder, man. Yeah, and he called it. He said, I'm going to win this fight via knockout in the first round.
Wow, did he really?
Yeah, he called it.
This is how the legend grows, me just accepting everything that you say about this guy.
This is how, but when we think about a Conor McGregor who came in with a lot of hype, right? And they started calling him Mystic Mac for a reason. He was calling his shot. He was saying, I'm going to knock this person out in the second round. I'm going to knock this person out in the first round. And he would do it. So the legend of Conor McGregor continued growing. And now we have Paddy the Baddy coming in with a lot of hype behind him. He calls a first round knockout and he absolutely delivers. But it wasn't just a quick knockout. Like I said, we got to see the fact that he's able to take some shots too, which is huge.
He went for a takedown. Luigi kind of that's kind of funny to say. Luigi kind of fought him off even when he tried to sweep the other leg. And then that combination at the end, he got him with the right hook and he kind of rocked him. And he kind of Luigi went away from the cage, kind of backpedaling, and he was chasing him, trying to get a knee to the chest, and then finally he landed again when his arm was down. He got another fist to the temple, which finally toppled him. So it was kind of a spectacle kind of finish.
That's a great call though, because a lot of times you'll see a fighter get another fighter hurt, and they just come in wild, right? A la Roundtree, just in the first round where he's throwing, crazy punches. Mm-hmm. Paddy the Baddy. I'm just going to keep on calling him that going forward. Paddy the Baddy.
I don't know if that's going to stick.
I don't know, but I love it.
You can't make fetch happen.
That's his nickname, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, bro.
Okay.
But he saw he got hurt, and he came in with a barrage of punches as well. But, dude, if you go back, look at the slow motion replay, and you'll see how accurate those shots were, man. Because Vendramini was hurt. He was trying to avoid the shots, and even though he was trying to avoid them, Paddy was able to land a majority of those shots when he blitzed them. And yeah, you're right. When he was up against a cage, he landed that hard right hook, and you just saw him crumble. He toppled, man, just down like a sack of potatoes. And they stopped the fight. And dude, after that, you just see the personality of Paddy come through.
I got it right here. Perfect timing.
You see the personality. Look at that face. How can you not love that face? You know what I mean? Look, even Bisping, dude, that interview, by the way, by Bisping, gold. Absolute gold. When he's like, what'd I tell you? I was going to knock him out in the first round. And then Mike Bisping's like, yeah, after you almost got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
It was gold. It was such a good interaction. But this was, we need to see more interviews like this, where it's more of a genuine interaction. The interviewer and the interviewee having fun with each other. because a lot of times it's so scripted. They have somebody in their ear the entire time. Ask him, when he knew he had him hurt. Ask him if he got hurt by that punch. Ask him, to take you through the knockout.
What were you thinking when you got punched? Not to get punched again. Like,
Yeah,
what other answers are there?
It's the same thing over and over and over again. In this case, right, Paddy the Baddy, Mike Bisping had an awesome interaction. I loved it. But, dude, just fantastic personality. Then after the interview, you see him dancing and singing his way out of the octagon back to the locker room. Dude, how can you not freaking love this guy?
Yeah, and going in without all this context, I still enjoyed the fight. I thought he was entertaining to watch. But if you go watch the movie A Clockwork Orange, the character in that movie has dark hair, but the cut is the same. Where is Paddy? Where's he from? Where's Paddy Pimblett from?
Liverpool.
So they're both from England, I guess, or wherever that might be, somewhere in the UK. So maybe there's something to do with the hairstyles over there, but that's definitely what it reminded me of.
And we do have some listeners that listen to us from England, from the UK. So just let us know. Shout out to the UK. Let us know if this is a style that's very popular over there. But yeah, no, UFC has a superstar if they play their cards right. They have a superstar in this guy. So hopefully they play their cards right. All right. Do you have anything else on Paddy the Baddy?
No, Paddy the Baddy. I'm looking forward to his next fight. I think it could be sooner rather than later since he didn't take any, super big damage, huh?
He took one big left, but like I said, he ate that shit for lunch, so it was no biggie. Now, before that, we had McCann versus Kim. So this was a very entertaining fight. Look, Rich, your boy over here. I'm old, man.
Yep.
I get tired easily. Hey, dude, you didn't have to say yep so quickly. But yes, I get tired quickly. But by the time this fight was on, because I ended up having to go through and rewatch the fights because my wife and I are hooked. Or we're hooked on this show called Clickbait on Netflix. I don't know if you've heard about it. Great show, excellent thriller. Anybody that is looking for stuff to watch right now, go watch Clickbait on Netflix. It's really good. But anyways, I had to finish those last 2 episodes. By the time I get off work, finish those episodes, and start rewatching the fights there, it's a little bit later. So by the time I get to this fight, your boy's tired. I had woken up at 5 a.m, went to work. So I'm tired. And this fight woke me up, man. It woke me up. And you know who woke me up?
Molly.
Ji-Yeon Kim. But Molly Meatball McCann.
Yeah, she was looking stout in there. She was not afraid of anything. Like, her attitude went through the screen into my body, and I was feeling tough. Like, I was like, what's going on?
Dude, so first of all, I hear people chanting meatball, meatball. And I thought to myself,
that what it was?
Yes. And I thought to myself, is her nickname really Meatball? And it is like
I know it.
Molly
Meatball
McCann.
Meatball. It's funny.
Oh, what kind of dog is it?
It's like
Bulldog.
it's like a little pit bull, but she's real stout.
Was it?
Just like Molly, I guess.
But dude, she's so aggressive, and I absolutely love it. And I know that she's a boxer. And thinking about it, Ji-Yeon Kim had a fantastic match up against Alexa Grasso, and Alexa Grasso, for me, is the best female boxer that I've seen in a long time. And Kim held her own against Grasso. So I figured, okay, this is going to be a good one. But McCann's just so aggressive, man. The rate of pressure that she was putting on Kim, I think, kind of caught her off guard. And the way that she was able to move in, because Kim had a big reach advantage on Meatball. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm just going to call her McCann because that felt a little weird right now. I felt like I was being disrespectful, and I didn't mean it that way.
Okay, yeah,
McCann. But McCann had a beautiful way of getting in, where she would just dip down to the left, and then she would explode with the left straight towards Kim. And it took a while for Kim to pick up on that, especially in the first round. She caught her with that a couple times. And then I thought, oh no, clash of heads. And the clash of heads rocked McCann.
Yeah, she went down to the middle of the octagon. Like, what happened?
Yeah. And at first I was like, did she hit her with the right uppercut? And I didn't see it. And then again, the replay showed it was a clash of heads. Great job reffing by everybody involved. Because I believe Herb Dean was the review official at that point in time. And I believe it was Herzog that was in there. Just an excellent job by everybody. Because then after the first round was over, they were talking about how there's communication with everybody that, hey, that was a clash of heads. It was not due to a strike. Because that can majorly impact the way that they scored that first round. Exactly. So McCann just showed her toughness, man. Just absolutely showed her toughness. But God, just a fun boxing match to watch. I've said in the past,
and then
like,
you didn't even mention the third round flurry that we talked about before we started the show.
what? No, I was gonna get there.
Oh,
I was
sorry,
gonna
sorry,
get there. No. You're good, because this is what, like I said, the fight woke me up. But this is the part that had me sitting up, yelling at my TV screen and saying, like, holy shit. And my wife getting annoyed by me because I'm yelling at the TV and it's already later at night, right? But McCann just pointing down to the center of the octagon, old school Max Holloway style, pointing down. And unlike, Kim didn't really want to, just stand and bang there in the middle of the octagon. Yeah, but that would have been legit. Hey, Kim, for sure do that next time. But McCann just a savage. And after she pointed
Next
down,
time, just stand there.
yeah, just come on. Just swinging and banging, man. Swinging and banging. But look at McCann walking up to Kim, hands down, yelling at her, telling her, let's do this. Look at Herzog's face. He's like, dang, girl. You see that? Look at that look on his face.
Yep.
Like, oh, man. It was just such a fun fight. But Liverpool, stand up, man. You got a real one right here. You have a real one in McCann. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of McCann.
Bro. It was wild. And I told you I'm going to just make every observation possible. So many times that we put on, women's UFC bouts, the ladies have these, and I've grown my hair out in the past year and a half. If you watch the show and my podcast, you'll notice that my hair's been getting longer and longer and longer. I noticed that a lot of girls have just the straight cornrows, straight backward, but they got these little twisty things going on.
Hey, you don't want that shit getting in your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're right. The braids are cool, but these particular ladies have like a different way to tie it up. See, it's got the little braids going sideways. Looks cool. So I'm a fan.
I like how I'm talking about her strikes, and you're like, dude, I really like her hair braids.
Hey, it's cool.
I love it, man. I love it. Yep. No, but just again,
diagonals over there.
Excellent fight. Very fun to watch. McCann, I'm a big fan. Going forward, if you ever happen to listen to this, you brought it A game. Your debut for Rich the Casual right here. You're impressed, right, Rich?
Yeah, super tough. Like I said, the attitude just went through the screen, and I feel like I need to go stand in the middle of an octagon or something. Like,
how about
I want to accept the challenge.
How about when Paddy the Baddy won, and you see McCann run up to the cage?
Yeah.
Just
okay, I'm putting it together now. Yeah,
at the top of her lungs.
What team is that?
Let me see. I'll double check right now to see if they're from the exact same team. Maybe they're just super excited.
The announcers are they're on the same team. That's what the announcers are saying, and they cut to the Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan cam where they
next generation Liverpool, next generation
cool.
MMA,
next generation MMA. You see Molly McCann running out there, and she's cheering him on, and I was watching some of these fights out of order myself because I got to the Pimblet fight first, and so this had already happened. And I was like, who is that? And then I went back and watched Molly. And so now it's making sense. I was like, man, she's all bruised up. I guess she just fought. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So hey, leading up to the last fight, leading up to the main event, you had Molly McCann representing England, right? You had Paddy Pimblett. You had Tom Aspinall. Darren Till was just the missing piece to just make it a clean sweep.
Trifecta.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen, but Darren Till, we still love you. It's okay. It's okay. What was the next fight we were going to cover, Rich? I don't even remember. I'm just so excited about Paddy the Baddy.
Julian Rosa versus Charles Jourdain.
Yes. So, man, this one's a tough one because I'm a big fan of both of these fighters. They in the beginning they talked about Rosa's teammate Kyle Reyes, who passed away from surgery. And did you hear that part?
I don't think I caught that one on the broadcast.
No, so Kyle Reyes passed away from surgery due to complications. This was a surgery for a bicep tear. For a bicep tear, he goes in for surgery.
Yeah,
has complications, ends up in a coma, and then passes away. Man, so our condolences to his family, his team. That's always tough, and for Rosa to come in shortly after that and put on the performance that he did. I'm sure that that was a motivator, wanted to show up for Kyle Reyes the way he did. Very, very fun first round.
It was so wild and crazy. Like these guys, these are the tornadoes I was talking about. I was like, these guys are just kicking around in circles, and like they're wearing the shorts that are a little bit more loose. That way they can have more, I guess, leg room. But just that contributed to the look of it being like a whirlwind, like two Tasmanian devils out there just circling each other, throwing punches, and then they didn't get to the submission until the third round. But up until then, I was like, Jesus Christ, fists are
It's a
flying.
fun fight, man. It's a fun
Yeah.
fight. So this is why I always love watching Air Jordan,
Mm.
because he has such an electrifying style. His strikes come out of nowhere. And in the first round, I thought, okay, this is a close round, but I love the fact that while Erosa was coming in with some looping hooks, looping shots, Jordan was coming in with the straight shots a lot, which was beating Erosa to the punch. Now, the thing that was really impressive, though, second round, third round continues coming, and Erosa found a home for the leading hook shots to the body.
Yeah,
Hooks to the body.
He took a double shot right there. It wasn't one shot. He's like, give me two. Boom, boom.
Dude, which were punishing, man.
Mhm.
Punishing. I know that Jordan didn't show very much emotion or reaction to those punches, but dude, it's impacting your gas tank as it continues going.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So Jordan had a lot of punches and bunches. It wasn't just like a jab he was throwing. He was throwing 2-3 hit combos. Erosa coming in with, like you were saying, the 2 hit combos to the gut.
Mhm.
But man, it was just such an exciting fight. One thing I did want to call out here. Oh, well, yeah, the fight ends with a Darce choke by Erosa, as you see here on the picture that Richie Casual just put up. But man, Jordan got a little lazy standing up right there. When he was up against the cage, he was standing up. He didn't protect himself. They say protect yourself at all times. That means all times. Even when you're standing back up off the ground, you can't leave your neck open like that to Erosa or to anybody else. If somebody's in mixed martial arts, man, they've trained in some way, shape, or form, jiu-jitsu, judo, kickboxing, like everything, So whether you're having a striking battle leading up to with very little, threats of a takedown, very little threats of submissions, it doesn't mean that, any Erosa of the world can just sink in a Darce choke really quickly. So just a lapse of judgment there by Jordan. But there's this part where Erosa has Jordan up against the cage, and DC expresses his frustration and says, I just don't understand why Erosa just doesn't, do a little more footwork, mess with his feet a little bit more, and take him down again. There's not enough guys that do that. And I love the fact that Bisping called him out and said, yeah, but not everybody's an Olympian wrestler like you,
yes,
DC.
I know.
And I said, fuck, yes, thank you, because DC does that a lot, especially when it comes to wrestling. I don't understand why they don't do this. I don't understand why they don't do that. And yes, you're right. Like, he's very knowledgeable. He's able to break down fights, unlike a lot of other people can. But Bisping was spot on. He said, dude, not everybody's an Olympian wrestler like you are.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they're not doing it.
Yeah, and that happens a lot if you go to the NBA too, or it's just a famous thing. Like, ex-players will become coaches, and they'll say, "Well, why can't you just be like the way that I was?" Jason Kidd being the coach of the Nets and the Bucks, and now the Mavericks. So that's a famous thing. The star or the top level athlete knows things or can perceive things and do things that the normal guys can't. Even these guys that are in the top 1% of the world. So that's definitely frustrating. And I'm gonna channel my inner will here again, and you're bringing up the commentators. I'm gonna bring up the commentators here again. What the hell was that during the Roundtree against the Baltic Gladiator fight? The fight's beginning, and they're talking about the venue. That's where they brought up the Apex 15-foot versus 20-foot thing, and he's like, we're right here by the bathroom. We know Daniel Cormier likes being near the bathroom.
Like
and then boom, Roundtree comes out with the explosion. Boom, 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 boom. And then Anik, I think it's John Anik, right? Was he commentating the main play-by-play? And he's like, whoa, whoa. And then Cormier is like, yeah, but I'm not in charge of the decisions as to what the venues are like, whatever. And then Anik's like,
you're missing the fight.
I know, the fight's happening in front of you.
I know,
got the
man.
best view here. So
hey, but also like I think we were talking about this earlier. I like the Apex. It's cool, but I miss the UFC being able to go from city to city, smaller venues, smaller markets, to give the fans an opportunity to watch some of these fights live. Yeah. I really miss that. Sure. I'm like, let's figure it out. Like, we're having the major UFC events in different cities, and granted, it's not in every state because every state, is a little bit different right now when it comes to their COVID rules. But let's mix it up a little bit. Let's mix it up. Why not? You're already going to Florida, go to different parts of Florida. You're already in Texas, go to different parts of Texas. Yeah,
Houston.
Yeah, well, Houston, they've had a few.
Texas City.
Hey, calm down, man. Paris, Texas. Like you're just gonna be throwing out like the most random cities in Texas. Come on, bro. Come on. But I think was that the last fight that we were gonna cover today,
That's
Rich?
the end of it. Yes. I was pulling up next week's fights in case you wanted to mention any of that.
Sure, let's throw them up there.
Yeah, let's see.
What do we have?
I'm just gonna read these names. Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann, I think, is the top one here.
Anthony Smith, man. I love Anthony Smith. He's one of those guys where I just don't think he's gonna make another run at the title ever. We've said in the past he's not gonna make a run, but somebody that's gonna be fun to watch in the top 10 here for the next year or 2 years. So we'll see what comes from that.
After that, Ion Kutalaba versus Devin Clark.
Kutalaba's a character, man. That should be a fun one. Ooh, Jim Miller. Dude,
versus
Jim Miller
Nicholas Mata
is a staple of the UFC for the longest time, man. Like if you want to go back and start watching fights from many, many moons ago, Jim Miller will show up on one of your best fights to watch list. You know what I mean? So good stuff.
And I'm pulling up a picture of Owen Hart here. You mentioned that earlier.
While you're doing that, we also have Joaquin Buckley making his return to the octagon. There's always something to talk about when it comes to that. And then let me see who else. Arjan Lipsky, Miss Lipsky coming in to fight, and she is a cutie. But that should be a fun one. Yeah, fun fights again.
Is this him right here?
That's Owen Hart right there, man. Pull it up. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. Dude, even the one right there in the top right corner, you could see. Look at that. That's Paddy the Baddy right there. Maybe not on all the roids like Owen Hart was, but dude, that looks just like Paddy the Baddy Pimplet. So good stuff, man. Were you able to pull up any news this week, Rich?
I don't have that pulled up. It has been a bit of a struggle being on the show and producing at the same time this week, but doing my best over here.
Rich, I appreciate you hopping on though and joining me so that I wouldn't have to be a big old loner while Will is out there hanging out with Nick Diaz and skiing in the Alps.
Yeah, man, we're a team, just like those guys with Pimplet and Meatball. Me and you, Will,
McCann.
McCann.
Dude, it just sounds so disrespectful. Like for me to follow,
she took it on.
I know, man, but for me to be like talking about this woman and be like Meatball, like I'm just like, oh, dude, it just feels weird, So, but hey, it was a great week of fights. A lot of fun. Again, next week we have Smith versus Spann. Will always does a moment of silence for any of the fights that were canceled. So in honor of Will not being here, I guess I'll fill in and I'll cover the moment of silence. But Charles Jourdain was supposed to fight Lerone Murphy. We had Jonathan Martinez versus Nathaniel Wood. That was canceled. Paul Craig versus Alexander Gustafsson. Man, that would have been an absolute banger. Paul Craig is always a lot of fun to watch. Alexander Gustafsson, we're trying to figure out what's going to be of Alexander Gustafsson. What do we have left? But I'm pretty sad that we missed that fight. We had Aspinall was supposed to fight Sergey Pavlovich. So that would have been a fun one too. This one right here, Jonathan Martinez versus Marcelo Rojo. It's Marcelo Rojo. We've been waiting to watch Marcelo Rojo fight for quite some time now. There's just always bullshit that continues coming up, and we continue pushing him back to next week. Marcelo Rojo, being the absolute professional, keeps on coming in, ready to fight, to make weight. Jonathan Martinez missed weight again.
Wow.
Missed weight again. And I've talked about this for quite some time with Will on the podcast. I'm sure you've heard it too. But what are we going to do about these weight cuts? What are we going to do about people that miss weight? I want to say this is Martinez's third time missing weight here in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. I am of the idea that there should be a 3 strikes you're out rule. You miss weight 3 times and you're cut from the UFC. Doesn't mean you're banned from the UFC, but it means you're cut from the UFC.
You have to make your way back up.
You have to make your way back up. Dude, you are fighting in the organization that every fighter in the world wants to get into. You talk about the NFL, right? Nobody says, hey, I want to play football growing up so I could play in the CFL. Mm-hmm. Nobody grows up saying, hey, I want to play basketball since I'm a kid so I can play in the, I don't know, what's
the G League, the developmental league for the NBA.
In the G League, right? people start fighting. They say, I want to fight in the UFC. I want to fight in the UFC. And then when I'm about to retire, I want to fight in Bellator because they'll take whoever. Right?
Or bare knuckle boxing.
Or bare knuckle boxing. Hey, don't talk bad about bare knuckle boxing. I love them now. Subscribe. I'm subscribed to bare knuckle boxing. But this is the UFC, man. So we have to have the ultimate professionals fighting in the UFC. Okay? And for you to show up and miss weight, have botched weight cuts so many times in your career, you're not professional enough to be in the UFC. You don't deserve to be in the UFC. You're taking up a roster spot for somebody out there that wants to break into the UFC. You're taking the roster spot and you're not taking your job seriously enough. Or if you miss weight 3 times in a specific weight class, then that's it. Maybe you are banned from that weight class and you're only allowed to fight the next weight up. There's just...
That sounds to be like a good solution.
But the thing is that we have to do something. That's the point. There needs to be repercussions. You have Dana White, who's the president of the UFC. I'm sure he could probably do something about it.
Yeah, but who's going to sway him?
You have Sean Shelby, who's a matchmaker, who could probably say, you know what? I'm not going to make any more matches for this person. Not at this weight class.
But who's going to sway him?
Match? Maybe it's us. Maybe it's story of the fight. Maybe we go viral with this video. Yeah, if anybody that agrees that something needs to be done about these weight cuts, then you share, retweet, whatever the hell. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, or wherever any other podcasts are found, maybe you share it with your friends. Say, hey, listen to this part. But we got to do something. We have to do something about these missed weight cuts. Again, Rojo, how many times is this guy going to make weight in a week? How many times is he going to go ahead and do weight cuts to come in ready to fight just to have some other guy that doesn't take his job as serious miss weight? And right now they lose a percentage of their purse, right?
Is he getting a little bit of money just for showing up ready?
No.
Wow.
No, I don't believe he is. I don't believe he is.
He needs it now.
He needs it now.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. So if I'm Rojo, I'm extremely frustrated with Martinez. I'm extremely frustrated with the UFC because we're allowing this to happen, right? If I'm his management team, I'm extremely frustrated that these other management teams are allowing their fighters to come in this way. Something has to be done. Something has to be done. Give us the 3-strike rule. You miss weight 3 times, you're out of the UFC, and tell me that fighters won't start showing up and taking their weight cut more seriously. They'll start cutting weight a week or 2 weeks earlier, whatever it takes, because they know, hey, if I miss weight this many times, I'm out of the UFC. All the stuff that I work for to get into the UFC down the drain because I don't want to put down this tortilla, because I don't want to put down this tiramisu, because I don't want to put down whatever it is that they're eating.
Yeah, look at our guy Ghost Pepper trying to make it in. And guys like this are just squandering their opportunity.
You know what? That's a great call. That's a great call. Jonathan Martinez, take a hike. Ghost Pepper, let's see you in the UFC. Let's see you. Sean Shelby, Dana White, we got your replacement, and it's Ghost Pepper. Bring him in. All right. Sorry, went off on a rant. Extremely frustrated about this one, but that's all I got. Do you have anything else, Rich?
No, that's everything. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for putting up with me.
Yep.
I've really had a lot of fun doing this. I'm excited to come back next week and to catch the fight the weekend of the 25th. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, the 25th. Make sure that you get off early that day so you can come watch the fights on the 25th. That entire card is super stacked. X-Flow Sensei, thank you so much for commenting during the show.
Shout out to Will.
Enjoy your time with Nick Diaz and skiing in the Alps. Everybody else, thank you for watching.
Like, subscribe. Catch us next week. This is Rich. We miss Will. That's Ramiro. And we'll see you guys next week.